Welcome back to episode 22 of Greatest Let's Play Modern Minecraft series, and I'm not giving up on this ender farm yet, this ender pearl farm. If MFR's broken, well, dang it, we're going to try and find another way around it. By the way, just to briefly explain about ender seeds, I did research this a little bit between the episodes. It was only being affected by this once, because how they work is on endstone every 20 minutes, on ender cores every 3 minutes, there's a chance for them to grow into the next stage. With this sigil in place, they will grow into the next stage. So every 20 minutes, I believe, or every 3 minutes, they have potential to grow. So there's that. But yeah, I've ripped up the rituals from underneath. I want to try and do this with Botania. If MFR doesn't work, let's see if Botania can. And the first ingredient to that is something I've already created off camera. It's called a Ranuncarpus. It's if we look in here, Ranuncarpus, where are you? There you are. Quite a handy flower indeed. The Ranuncarpus will pick up any nearby blocks in dropped item form and place them in a world nearby. And what that's actually saying is, hey, I'm going to plant stuff. Except, yeah, that's more worded than that. However, it only places the blocks thrown at it on top of a specific block. To specify this block, place it right below the soil the flower is resting on. So, the soil is going to go here, so I've put endstone underneath. That does mean, however, it's not going to be able to plant on these ender cores. So, when I make lots more ender cores, I'll just replace that block underneath with an ender core, and we should be fine. There we go. Nothing much is happening, and it doesn't need mana, so that's fine. What that's basically going to do, if I were to, I don't know, place a dropper or some other thing up here, and it doesn't need to be exact, by the way, it's going to drop down, and this will plant it. So if I had a way of breaking all of these all at once, like, say, something, Horn of the Wild, then as long as I could collect them, collect everything, if you like, and filter out the ender pearls off into my system somehow, then drop them again, then around it would go. Now, there is some other, yeah, there's some other weirdness. We may not need to actually do anything, well, we'll get to that later in the episode. Let me explain it when I've got something on the screen. However, because that block is below this one, it doesn't make it very easy to use the rituals. You know, there's 2 on this side and 2 here, and obviously I could make the rituals larger and create a different thing. But if we're going to do this by Botania, let's try and do it all by Botania. So I want another flower to try and make things grow fast. Now, I'm not sure whether it's going to work, because I'm not sure exactly how it works internally, but there is one called an agricarnation, and it turns mana into basically something that makes things grow fast. So I am going to need some way of making mana. Yeah, I think I could do my usual trick of putting those thermal lilies down. I may well do that. Yeah. First of all, let's make this thing. So let's head over to the Botania area. Well, you'll notice I've already put some petals in that form, and they match pretty much these. Yeah, I think that's everything. Except I need redstone root, which is just grass and redstone. I do need a rune of spring, which is some saplings, some wheat, water, and fire on the altar. So I've got water, fire. I need more saplings and wheat. Yeah, thankfully I have some wheat left. But everything looks right. Come on. Sometimes they really don't like to be right-clicked. Wheat. It works fine. Yeah, there you go. Fire. Water. That should be everything. We just need the wand. And we want some living rock. Echo. Weird. Anyways. This is quite a large recipe. There we go. So with that maiden over there at the back, and a mana pool below it, we just need to make our usual Serenade of the Nether, along with a couple of Thermalilies. I robbed these from the automatic flower machine. I think I showed you that. Might not have, but it generates so many flowers that I'm never going to use all the flowers it's actually generated so far, so yeah, no big loss. There you are. Hey presto! And I'm going to want mana spreader. Where's my stick? It's a better name for it, but it's a stick. Bind mode. You. Bind to you. There we go. That's working, and that's a horrid sound. I don't want that in my base constantly, so a muffler available. Excuse me, I thought it's going. Yes, I do. Good. Wow, is that also the sound that makes? That also looks like it's from a bone meal, so that that may not work. But anyway, you can go there. If it doesn't work, I'll see if there's another way to just basically put the ritual back in or something along those lines. But yeah, it does look like it's trying bone meal, which doesn't really work with any lily seeds, but I'm going to leave it. I'll come back if there's another way to do that with Botania. Anyway, next stage, I want something to break these when they are mature. Pull everything into somewhere, and you pull everything into somewhere over here, maybe. I want a chest. Yeah, regular wooden one will do fine. Excuse me, my throat's going. Not sure why. Too much talking, maybe. There we go. So how are we going to get the stuff into that once it's broken. Well, that's where we have something called a Hopperhock. Giving him mana is optional, but it'll increase its range. Items picked up will be put in adjacent inventories, i.e. chests. And you can specify which items can or can't go in there. But that's not a problem. Okay. Let's go make a Hopperhock. Some grass. I want a grey mana petal and a light grey mana petal. Fine. 1, 2. And I want the normal versions of the same, along with that. Univer. Gotcha. Let's go and put that down. And I decided I just couldn't take the noise of the aggregationation anymore, and it wasn't really doing anything for the Ender Lily seeds, I don't think, so I'll leave it off for the moment. We'll see how fast things get. Obviously, once I go up to Ender Cores, this may well be a moot point, but I've put the Hopperhock down. Now, if I come through here and pop around the corner, here's my chest, and it's pulling in everything nearby, as it should do. When I was supplying it with mana from down there, I've removed that now, but when I was supplying it with mana, it was ripping stuff all the way from over here. You know, the kind of the seed stuff that I make. If that's going through, hopefully it's not going to rip. Oh, in fact it still is. That's annoying. In fact, that's almost absurdly magical. Okay, I'll just have to... Yeah, for the moment I just won't run it when this is active. When they're in the chest it's fine, but it's just when they're actually in the world. All I will probably do later is just link this up so that it's not going to happen. I'll put one of those item frames down as it says. In fact, can I just do that? Let's have a look. Frame. Well, I definitely should have enough for that. That is not the most expensive recipe in the world. Item frame. So I only want it picking up. You know, I wonder whether I can just leave the seeds to break and then be replanted. That's going to waste the seeds that it's going to waste the seeds that occasionally you get extra of, but because I'm not going to use those anyway, I mean, I've got some in here. See? So maybe I can just end a pearl. What did it actually say? Placing item frames in any of the inventories. Specify which items can. An item frame which has no. That lighting is really annoying. Gotta change that. See if that's any better. So, item frame. Yeah, I don't think there's any way to break this thing without. Yeah, it does say in inventories, and I think that's just completely. Really, that is still extremely loud. I don't understand. Unless it just ignores everything, which is even more annoying. Yeah, so I'm going to assume it means I can just put an item frame on the actual side of the thing. Oh, for God's sake. I end up throwing an inventory which has no item frame adjacent to it can accept any items adjacent to it. So above, would that do the job? The rule you're using to sort items can be shown. Shift right clicking wand. Okay, let's give that a try then. See what options it has. There's just no way of getting rid of that lightning, is there? There's, short of me turning the volume off completely, it's just yeah, keep going. So function mode. Pick up only items not in frames. Pick up any items. Pick up only items in frames. Fine. So let's put you there and say, try to throw it this time. You. Will that work now? Seal you up. So what should happen then is that flower will only pick up ender pearls. Everything else will remain on the floor when they get broken, which should get replanted by the running carpus. That's the theory. Let's get rid of some of this stuff. Right, now for the ME bit. If this can and does do that, then if I put an import bus here, doesn't really matter where, but here should do. I don't need to tell it anything. No, because hopefully everything should be dealt with up there. And then I can run this. Not there. It's connected. So if I put, I don't know, some seeds in there. Yep, that's working. I'll replace it for later. So that's the import sorted. What else do we need? We need a way to break this stuff. And we need some way to do that. Rarely enough. I mean, I don't really have any way of knowing whether this stuff is actually grown. So maybe I just want it to happen every so often. At least until maybe those harvesters are fixed. So how am I going to do that? First of all, let's get some... I'll do the glass front later. Yeah, I don't have enough smooth glass. I was going to use that. Never mind, I'll do that later. I'm definitely going to need the autonomous activator to use this Horn of the Wild. So we'll get one of those. And the flowers can go back in there. I don't need those. That's no. Shouldn't need that. Yeah, it's most of my inventory. Leave the magnetism ring off. Fine. What we're actually going to need to do then, you see, if I set this autonomous activator up, and I put the Horn of the Wild in there, it's going to use it immediately. But we can require, I think, in fact, if this works right now, we know it's wrong. Yeah, you see nothing happening. There's no redstone signal. So if we create some kind of timer, then that should work. So if I just clear out this wall, yeah, let's reuse this lever. Red alloy wire. So if I've got some red alloy wire like this, there we go. What am I going to do with that? Well, next thing we could actually do is a timer. Project Red timer, more specifically, is a pointer, cathode, anode, some conductive plates and circuit plates. How much of that do we have? So I'm missing anodes and pointers. Anode. Pointer. Timer and a screwdriver. So if I set this to let's just set it to 5 seconds immediately. When that's not going to be appropriate, but if this is off, that's going to rotate and trigger a redstone signal every 5 seconds. Very short one. Now, these aren't fully grown yet, so yeah, the way I could do this is if I just grab a block. Let's check if this is enough by itself. So it might be. If I put, let's say, something like this down, and our autonomous activator. And let's put a block inside of it. Saving level, round robin use. And it's only going to trigger when it receives a redstone signal. The problem with it, or maybe with it, is that this Horn of the Wild, at least when I'm using it, requires a charge up time. So that may well not work. It may well just not actually break these. And if I'm not willing to actually try this, I suppose I've got to try it. So let's shut this off for a second. Not sneaking, aim level. Should be enough to get there, but hey, let's just go to the back as well. Fine. What this should do is demonstrate whether this all works or not. If it doesn't, no worries. We just need another piece of circuit. So I'm going to stand well back and trigger this. What should happen is everything should break and be replanted by the running carpus, apart from these two that are on the ender cores. In fact, I'll probably get rid of those if I wanted to. Are you going to mature? Probably aren't. Oh well. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I don't think it's on for long enough. Which is fine. That's what I was kind of expecting. So we actually do need something else. In, and I want out. So if I turn this off, it should start rotating, which it does. Triggers, that's fine. And now I want you to take you out for a second. I'm going to need another piece of machinery. What I want to do is delay this, so when it triggers, it's going to need to stay on for, I don't know, maybe 5 seconds. Once this is set to like 20 minutes, that is. To do that, we can create something called a state cell. It just kind of keeps the redstone on, if you like, for a certain period of time. There's more complicated mechanics than that, but it's not terribly important. Grab some of those. We still need some of those. Pointer or two, and now we've got the central problem. This thing, the silicon chip, is a bit more laborious. We need infused silicon, which needs red silicon compound, which needs redstone and silicon, which needs a silicon boule, which needs sandy coal compound, which needs sand around a block of coal. Right. Thankfully, I did the first bit, so we've got to this stage, and I have a saw somewhere, so do I have to do this in my... Do I have to have a specific kind of saw? Hopefully not. Oh, it has to be a diamond saw. Funky. I suppose it's to be expected, I suppose. What it does. Can't use sapphire though. Oh well. Where's my silicon bill gone? So, what was that? Silicon chip, was it? There's a couple of different varieties. Fine. So, fine, I make this with this. I should do for the future. Okay, I just smelt it then. There we go. So we should have everything we need for the silicon chip. And that means the state cell should now be craftable. So if I put you there, let's get rid of this for a second. Can I remember which way around this thing goes? In, out, 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 lock. Fine, so what should happen is if I set this, now let's leave that 2 seconds. If I put you there for a second, what should happen is this should rotate in 5 seconds. You should trigger this, which will leave this signal on for 2 seconds. 5. Nope. Oh, it's that. This thing isn't actually. Yeah. There we go. So 5 seconds. Click. No, that's not set up right. Yeah, I want in. I want in and then out, but that's a different out. Yeah, I need that direction. It's a bit annoying. Okay. Oh, that's the ground surface as well. Okay. Review for a second. Fine, so from state cells here, I want it so that in and out it's facing that way. My timer can then go here, rotating that. Should do the job, and then here. Let's just set you to 5 seconds, and nothing in there, so that should be fine. So, everything's frozen. Flip switch, in 5 seconds, rotates, clicks, triggers a 2-second pulse of the red LR wire. Wonder, is this large enough to everything have grown yet? Come on, grow. Oh. No, you're not mature. Yeah. Fine. I'm going to come back when that's grown a bit. Okay. One's mature. That's enough for a quick test. I've got 8 ender pearls in my system and no other way of generating them right now. So, internally I've set the timer to 20 seconds and the state cell to 5. See if that will trigger it for long enough. I see it's not running at the moment because this switch is on. That one's mature, so if I drop this in, and what should happen is state shell should trigger for 5 seconds. Hopefully that's long enough to trigger the Horn of the Wild, which will in turn break all of these. Should rip the ender pearl that way. Everything else should be replanted by that flower in the middle. And Bob's your mother's brother. Which wait for the timer to tick down. Boom, there they go. So, it's pulled everything. The item frame clearly isn't working where it is. So I wonder whether you need to make it, when it says adjacent, it doesn't say what that means. Alright, let's try it. There. So the seeds definitely got ripped out of place. And we should be able to try this actually, because if I grab one of... Well, this is going to be a problem if I throw the ender seed. So I'll make sure I'll just throw some of you and you. What happens? Still pulls everything. I mean, that's not a problem. I can always just make them drop the seeds again. It depends if they're... It's long enough. Any inventory which has no item frame adjacent to it can accept any items, but label inventories will take priority. Is it just a problem with the the ender pearl that it teleports me, so I can't place the item frame? So let's see if that one works. Nope, that still grabs it. How about... Oh, God. Nope, yeah, still not having any of this, are you? How about now? That's still not working. Well, that was silly. I actually had it picking up only items in frames. Pick up only items not in frames. Let's see if that helps. Let's put it on the inventory. Will you get picked up? Okay, so that's definitely working to filter things. So what I actually want to do is I want to pick up. I did have it set correctly previously. I forgot the setting was correct. So what I actually want to do is just flip you back. Pick up only items in frames. Yeah. So if I instead stop throwing the the opposite, if I throw these, nothing should happen. Great, that's absolutely perfect. So That should be a fully working system. It gets broken by this. I just have to set the period right. All I need to do is, I don't know, maybe set it for an hour or whatever time the period it takes. Set the timer in there, and then when it triggers, it will break everything, which will get planted by this. In the meantime, if I really want to, what you could do is set up a dropper up here, which continually filters seeds through this system to try and replant them. The only thing you've got to be careful of is you can't continually break them, because it will break even the non-mature plants, which is unfortunate. But if I just drop these out of here, you'll see what happens. Hopefully the flower should do its work. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? And of course it won't plant these last two because they're on ender cores. So all I need to do later, and that's probably because I've got my, yeah, this is still on, so they're going through the growth phases. All I need to do later is just adjust the timer and replace the block underneath that dirt with the ender cores once I've got enough of them. If you wonder why ender cores are so particularly, let's just double check that it does actually pick this up again, the 7 in the system. Let's just discard 1. Eight. That's exactly what we want. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, just to briefly explain the ender cores. I haven't showed you how to make them, so I may as well do that to finish off. Ender core requires 4 magical wood, 4 ender-infused obsidian, which requires some of this. So let's just make sure there's some of that in the system. Eye of Ender, so at least one of those in the system. And then this magical wood. See, I don't have any at the moment. Now, the mechanic here is that you need 4 enchanted books. It says it shows you just 1 here. That's interesting. In fact, that's very interesting. I can just use liquid XP in a fluid transposer. Huh. I have a ton of XP, so that will just convert one to the other. Same process, but believe it or not, that's actually easier. You see, what you normally have to do is then you have to go and make 4 books, run all the way down here, and enchant them. Level 1, you need 4 level 1 books per magical wood. The higher the class of enchantment, so level 2 one, if you get 4 books of level 2, like I don't know, efficiency 2 or sharpness 2 or something, 4 level 2s will make 4 wood. In this case, however, fluid transposer. I wonder. Can I just grab? This is the other thing that irritates me about these recipes. Thermal expansion recipes are terrible now in 1.7 because the way they're listed, it kind of cycles them in the same space, which is really annoying. So you have to wait for it to occur as a basic, and then you can shift click, and sometimes it doesn't work like that, and it's horrible. Wait for it to cycle around again. And I think I still need a bucket. Still short of them. Fluid transposer, so if I just grab this and put it, I need power there, you're getting power, input from the top, and let's just grab you temporarily. Yeah, liquid XP and fluid. There we go. So if I make bookshelves, I'm going to make 4 because I'm out of wood, but if I drop them in here now... Oh, that's good. That's a much nicer way of making them. That method with the books I was never really fond of because you couldn't really automate it very well. You got to make them at a certain enchantment level and then combine them and store them. Yeah, I'll take this any day. I mean, obviously it consumes 8 buckets of XP per magical wood. See, obviously it's filling all the way up again, so that's going to go down any second. 139720. Yeah, so yeah, 8 buckets worth. But it does mean we can just do this now. Decor. And I've got another one, which is fine. I can just, I don't know, put it down here. Because yeah, that's yet another one that thing won't plant on. That's just how I roll. So I'm going to have to make lots of books and lots of bookshelves, but that's straightforward. Just leather, which we can get from a lot of rotten zombie flesh. 64 should do, and you know, just run over here. Ooh. Maybe that conjuration focus underneath there doesn't actually convert these. Okay, in that case I need to create an alchemical focus and put that somewhere else because that will convert these into leather. Anyway, that's for me to do off camera, as you've already seen me do it before. Yeah, so apologies that episode did run a little bit long. It's like 47 minutes, which is terrible. I need to try and get this down to 30 minutes. But mainly figuring out just how to make this work without the ease of MFR. Mind Factory Reloaded is normally good. Anyway, if you can think of an even better way to do it, or you know, something that's simpler, by all means, more than happy to hear it. So leave me a comment, like if you like this method, or do it yourself, or even subscribe if you really like me talking for a while. Yeah. Anyway, I'll see you next episode. This has been episode 22, and next episode, we can actually make these tesseracts now. I need this Enderium ingots. I need the induction smelter. So next episode we'll do the tesseracts, and we'll start figuring out what we need to do to make automatic mining a reality. Thanks for watching.